23rd started out as an ordinary day. It was a Sunday, so Doug, myself, and Jessica, our 18-year-old, got up early for church and couldn't wait to see our 12-year-old twins later that day. They had gone to Greenville with their grandparents and a cousin to visit some other cousins. As Doug sat in the pews and Jessica and I sang in the choir, someone came to get Doug. After we finished singing and made our way into the lobby, I saw Doug on the phone with a stricken look on his face. Not knowing what to expect, he heard a voice on the other end of the line telling him that his loved ones had been in a serious head-on collision. She went on then to say that his mother had died, his father and nephew were being transported to a local hospital, and our kids were being transported to Children's. That's when the calls started rolling in. A sweet voice filled me in on the details of Megan's injuries. A forehead laceration, broken arm, a ruptured aorta, and intestinal injuries. Before I knew it, calls were pouring in one after the other. Most of the drive to Children's is a blur, but one moment I remember is when I was told there was a possibility that Megan could lose her legs because of the aorta rupture. She was losing blood and needed emergency surgery. I prayed, Lord, you can't take her legs. That's her life. Being outside and running. Megan is a strong athlete and a cross-country runner. She needed those legs. I couldn't even verbalize Megan's condition to my husband. The next call informed me that Michael was going downhill and he needed surgery. I never met the team who treated Michael, but I knew he was in the best hands. When we pulled up to Children's, someone was waiting outside for us. She ended up being our first contact at Children's, both over the phone and face-to-face. She kept track of our timing along the way and had been standing on the corner ready to help us get our car parked and get us in to see our children. When I first saw a glimpse of hope in his eyes, that's when I knew my Megan was going to be okay and she would run again. An intracranial pressure monitor was also placed in Megan's head. An amazing surgeon stabilized Megan's broken arm. Michael was out of surgery at that point and doing well. After Megan's surgery, the surgeon came in and spoke with me about what he had found and the steps that they took to correct these things. He drew me a picture. He started with her head. She had a little brain injury, and he just went down the paper explaining each of the injuries that she had, and he ended up with her feet. She was that seriously hurt. He wrote on the piece of paper the word time. He said that's the only thing we have right now is time. We just have to wait and just see how she responds to everything that's been done. After a total of 8.5 hours, Megan was out of surgery and in the ICU. With 2 kids in the hospital, it puts us in a whole different spectrum. Michael continued to progress well, and his pain was managed with very attentive people on the 4th floor. One nurse cared for both kids, which was amazing to think that one person had a part in touching both of my kids' life while in the hospital. I will never forget one particular ICU nurse who went above and beyond to touch Megan's life in a very special way. Even while Megan was still on the ventilator and sedated, the nurse was thinking about how my child would feel when she woke up. A young chaplain was there to pray with us and provide us the support we needed. We later found out that this lady was intoxicated, twice the legal limit. We had also learned that Michael had gotten out of the vehicle and he had wandered away from the vehicle and was walking down the side of the road. When the paramedics arrived, they assessed the situation as a cleanup mission. And when one of them discovered Michael, he approached Michael and told him that he needed to go home. But Michael pointed to the car and told him that his family was still inside. When they realized that Michael had been in the car, the mission changed to a rescue mission. Michael is our hero. Michael was released after a 6-day stay and was able to begin easing back into a normal routine. With one child left in the hospital, we had a feeling we were close to being home all together again. It's one thing to show up and do your job. It's another thing to show up and be passionate about what you do, whether what you do is indirect with a patient, with a child, or their parents, or if you're behind the scenes and you never come in contact with anybody. The people who do the records, that are in the pharmacy, the volunteers, for the people that came in to clean our room, and just the comfort of the building. It was bright and it was cheerful. To the person who keeps the trains up and running, someone was making sure the computers worked in the operating rooms, and a person was in charge of cleaning the instruments used for surgery. Each medication that was administered and procedure performed on my children was regulated. Dietitians checked to make sure Megan was absorbing nutrients, and when she was well enough to eat, they helped us choose healthy, tasty foods. We were able to order meals off of the menu for our kids and ourselves, and the room service was incredible. Megan went home after a 13-day stay, a miracle in and of itself. She ran in her first track meet on February 26th. Both of my kids are back in school and have been extremely resilient. My father-in-law, that was also in the accident, he died 1 month ago. It has been hard, but we rely on our faith in God to get us through. The outcome would have been so different for me and my family had we not been at Children's Medical Center. If the people that came in contact with them had not been passionate about the choices that they made in their own lives. Megan and Michael are why you need to do what you do, to continue to do what you do. Children's Medical Center makes such a huge difference in not only the lives of my children, but the lives of the children that will come next. We are a patient family that has been forever changed, and it was you that made that happen.